Let's talk about compressors, how to hear what they're doing, and how to hear the different characteristics of different styles of compression. Let's dive in and have a look. So compression seems to be quite a highly debated topic. It's something that I see thrown around quite often, and guys use a lot of adjectives to describe what the compressors are actually doing. You know, they say like, oh, I like the character of this compressor and the character of that compressor. And for a lot of guys getting into it, or a lot of guys who don't understand what a compressor is actually doing, it can be very difficult to to pull the mask off a lot of those adjectives. You know, when we hear guys saying, oh, this compressor sounds lush, then a lot of guys will just sort of slap that compressor on a channel and call it a day. So my idea is to demystify the compressor slightly, to show you how to hear what is actually going on with compression, and to show you how to effectively use it without killing it and without overdoing it, and hopefully you'll be able to tell the different characteristics of different styles of compression and be able to choose different styles of compression based on what you want to achieve, rather than just going blind and kind of using somebody else's adjectives to construct something that might end up not sounding what you want in the first place. So I'm not going to go in too much detail about what a compressor actually is. There's plenty of resources online for you to do your own research and find out how a compressor works, but what I want to do is I want to show you how to set a compressor up so that you can hear what's actually going on under the hood. So I'm going to open up the Cubase default compressor, and I've put it on my grid synths channel over here because I think that's going to give us quite a good representation of kind of varying dynamics and varying sort of amplitudes. So it's quite a good signal to compress because we can actually hear sort of in detail what the compressor is doing with that signal. So first things first, as I slap the compressor on, I generally turn off settings like automatic makeup gain, soft knee. They tend to color the sound of what the compressor is actually doing. Then what I'll do is I'll set my threshold to about 15% on the dial. I'll set my ratio all the way up. I'll set my release down to 0. And then I'll set my makeup gain up quite a bit. So now what's happening is we're essentially crushing our sound to absolute oblivion. And now what we want to do is we want to use these envelope settings to kind of change the characteristics of the compression algorithm. So it might be a bit complicated to explain, but I'm going to show you and hopefully you guys can hear what's going on. So you can hear as I change the attack and the release parameter, there's this sort of drastic change in the dynamic response of the sound. Suddenly you get those transients punching through a lot more. And, you know, often I find when guys kind of just apply a compressor and slap on a preset, you're missing the main point of what a compressor is actually supposed to be doing. And that's controlling the dynamic response of the sound. And presets aren't a way of analyzing a sound source to apply thereafter, if that makes sense. So specifically with compressors, I urge you don't use presets to kind of go by ear. Even if it means you're going to end up doing a lot more work in the first place, you want to be able to hear what the compressor is doing. And in turn, what that's going to help you do is it's going to help you in the mix to be able to hear overall when sounds are overcompressed, because you start to understand the nature of what a compressor does. So obviously this sound that we've got right now is way over exaggerated. So what we want to start doing now is once we've got the kind of dynamic response that we're looking for, now we dial back those original settings that we punched in the first place. Most importantly, like the makeup gain, I'll turn all the way back down to 0. And then I'll start increasing the threshold and decreasing the ratio just a little bit at a time until I get the exact desired effect that I'm looking for. Cool, those synth sounds already sound like they're fitting together a lot better, and it's kind of like they've got a kind of standardized transient response across the board, so they're kind of gelling a lot better, I find. So one thing to bear in mind is compression does reduce your dynamic range, so you always want to just keep an eye out on the gain reduction. And if your track is already struggling with the sort of amount of dynamic response overall in the mix, I wouldn't start to compress your sounds too much. But if you've still got a lot of dynamic range to work with, you can go ahead and you can compress these sounds as much as you want, as until you start to get the desired effect that you're looking for. So now I want to show you guys how to listen for the different characteristics in different types of compression. If I want my transients to be pretty much standard across the board, I want a sort of clinical sound, I'll turn to this compressor. But, all the DAWs have various compressors built in, and there's, hundreds of different compressors on the market, from tube compressors and vintage compressors, and each one has their own specific sort of characteristic. And, depending on obviously the source of the sound that you're looking for, you may want to use different types of sounds. So let's have a look at Cubase's tube compressor. Let me put this guy away for now. So I've set this up in a similar way. I've basically limited the hell out of it, and now we're going to tweak the attack and the release to look at the different characteristics compared to our sort of more clinical compressor that we used just now. I can immediately hear with the tube compressor, it's got a much more of a aggressive, non-linear type of sound. I would kind of use this probably on percussion if I'm looking to liven it up a little bit, or on this type of synth. If I really want to bring out that slap in the synth sound, then tube compressor is a very good way of doing that. And then finally, let's look at Cubase's vintage compressor, or I think this is a sort of emulation of a Teletronic style. Waves has an emulation of this as well, which is really good. This one, I find the sort of the focus is on the punch of the sound. It works very well on drums, it works very well on kicks and bass sounds as well. But I find it has a very non-linear type of sound. So it can tend to muddy things up a little bit. So I'm just going to show you guys the type of characteristics that it has, and you can make up your mind from there. There's a lot more of a focus on the sort of mid-range and the punch and the transient of this sound. So this would work very well on kicks, basses, percussions and stuff like that. But again, I said you must be very careful of, it can sometimes muddy up the sound a little bit, so always just watch out for that. But as you can see, it's more focused on the mid-range as opposed to the tube compressor style, which kind of adds a bit of a sparkle on top, I would say. I'm using adjectives, and I kind of said I shouldn't, but you get the picture. Anyways, I hope that helped to demystify compression a little bit for you guys. So the way I've kind of set it up is to kind of bring out the aggressive tone and then tone it down from there. So you guys can kind of get the picture, and I'm sure you can apply it to whichever sources in your tracks you think need a bit of compression, or you think the sort of transients need to be livened up a little bit. Compression is definitely a very good way to do that. Just be careful, you don't want to squash the dynamic range out of your tracks, and you don't want to kill them a little bit too much. And I find using presets on compressors is the easiest way to deaden a track. But on the converse, a compressor is the easiest way to liven up a track. So it's a very, very fine balance between, success and failure and the sort of years of tweaking and gray area in between. So I hope that helped you guys understand compressors a little bit more. A big thanks to IDM Mag, proud supporters of the dance music scene and my channel. Let me know in the comments what techniques of compression you guys use. If I've missed something that I should maybe mention, hit that comment section, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. See you guys next time.